Hello, Sasha here. I'm gonna go over that absolutely awful game design of Tooth and Tail, which is lots of things wrong with this game, but just this one I haven't really gone over ever in detail. Now the problem with Tooth and Tail, you can be hundreds of feet ahead, you can make every single correct decision, you can outplay your opponent throughout the course of the match, but the thing is, none of it matters because of how poorly this game is designed most of the time. Like, there's so many things that can happen where you just lose the game, even though you've done everything else right up to that point. Because this game simply doesn't reward being skilled. It doesn't reward outplaying your opponent. It doesn't reward being ahead. It's ridiculous. I've never played an RTS as bad as this one. Yeah, let's get into it. Oh, yeah, my comp obviously just crushes this. Like, 4 kills the camps, and the tier 1, 6 kills the Badger. Balloon's kind of annoying if it gets a balloon wall set up, but even then, like... Yeah, we're just gonna fight it. It's pretty basic at first. Just throw on spam. And just more tier 1 spam. I have Squizzard though, which gives me a pretty big advantage. So I can win a fight with slightly less numbers, so I can go ahead and afford to start teching. Go ahead and grab cams. Kinda don't really have space, which is really annoying. And then I decided to go full bore because 180 food isn't a whole lot when you have like 1,000 food of army on the field. Well, like when you have 700 food of army on the field, you can afford to put down a boar, especially when you have lizards and cams versus this pro skill. Doing sniper balloons, which yeah, it's not gonna matter since it's boar versus pro tier 1. Get badger, so let's just put out some, snakes just to make sure we kill the badger. Yeah, let's look at this. Pretty big army advantage, but the balloons are not gonna do a whole lot here. Like, it's just a slaughter foe's army. Like, war actually does die pretty quickly, which is annoying, but whatever. We're going after Badger Warren now. Decide to fall back. So his entire army literally gets wiped. But somehow, despite his Badger somehow still attacking my snakes, I have no idea how, honestly. So 1 tag, 2 snakes. Like, how does that make, literally, I outplayed him so hard. I destroyed his entire army. I destroyed like half his warrens. I destroyed 2 sniper balloons. Like, look at this graph. I have 2 snakes versus a pigeonless badger. And despite me constantly hovering on the badger, 3 tags go on the skrill. Like, it makes 0 sense. Like, this game is so poorly designed. Like, it's not that micro is difficult in this game, it's just basically impossible. You're literally just rolling the dice, like in Ruse, which the air micro in that game is so unfriendly. The infantry micro in that game is also unfriendly. But and it's very difficult, but you can still do it. It's still doable as long as you click right. In this game, that's just impossible. You can't click right at all. You just have to spam click. It's basically impossible to track the enemy unit. And it's ridiculous. Snakes are supposed to counter Badger, especially if Badger has no pigeons. But what just happened? The Badger just killed 2 snakes and a bunch of other units. Like, it's just amazing how incredibly poorly this game is designed. How it doesn't reward the person who outplays the other person. It doesn't reward being ahead. It doesn't reward correct decision making. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like Line War, see that game, you're not gonna lose because of like one extremely tiny thing that was a roll of the dice, because it's impossible to micro or focus fire in this game. So like Line War is good. The Line War also takes forever to play a match, so that's why I don't really play it. Age of Empires is again, that's also a really good game because, you know, making the correct decisions, positioning, you know, all that stuff actually matters in Age of Empires, unlike Tooth and Tail, which is just throwing the dice. What other RTS have I played? Fuck, this isn't an RTS, but even League of Legends, which is super micro intensive. See, the thing is, like all these games, like if they have micro, it's difficult. But in Tooth and Tail, it's not just difficult; it's impossible. Because like you try to spam focus the enemy unit, but that's just way too difficult to do. And since your units only attack once a second, like in like the Badger especially, is like hovering on top of other units. Like what are you supposed to do? It's ridiculous. Like there's so many there's so many games where at least if they have micro and like mechanics, it's just that they're difficult, but they're still doable. And Tooth and Tail, it's not doable. Like the game doesn't work how it should. Like counters don't work. It just doesn't reward being a better player or being ahead or outplaying an opponent. It doesn't reward anything. It's ridiculous. It's super defensive. You just sit in your baseline game until you build tier 3. It's so poorly designed.